Oh, yes. Yes, yes, indeed. Welcome to the Daily Huddle. I'm your host, Chase Steele Gray. And of course, this is the day we like to call Health and Wellness Wednesdays. This is where we speak about everything health, wellness, things that make your body feel better, your mind feel more fluid. And we always have some great guests to kind of move us along in that great journey, right? Because everybody wants to feel better, right? Why not? And wherever you are in the country, my goodness, is it cold. But we didn't come here to talk about the weather. Wow. Amazing. So let me introduce you to our guest for today. And he's someone I have so much respect for. Man, this guy has a great spirit. My goodness. When I look at him, I question the level of my spirit when I look at Roosevelt. I'm like, man, can I get more? I need a little more, maybe. Man. Anyway, Roosevelt Standifer, a passionate advocate for health and fitness, serves as a certified personal trainer, community outreach coordinator with a deep-rooted commitment to fostering healthier lifestyles. Roosevelt utilizes his expertise to empower individuals to achieve their wellness goals. Through personalized training programs and engaging outreach initiatives, he not only helps clients build physical strength, but also cultivates a supportive environment for sustainable lifestyle changes. With a focus on inclusivity and accessibility, Roosevelt is dedicated to ensuring that everyone, regardless of their background or circumstances, has the opportunity to prioritize their health and well-being. Outside of his professional roles, Roosevelt is actively involved in various community initiatives aimed at promoting health equity and access to fitness resources, whether organizing free workout sessions in undeserved neighborhoods or partnering with local organizations to provide educational workshops on nutrition and exercise. He is deeply committed to making a positive impact on the health outcomes of individuals and communities alike. Wow, that was a long sentence. I loved it though. Through his tireless efforts and infectious enthusiasm, Roosevelt Standifer continues to inspire and empower others to lead healthier, happier lives. Please welcome my man, Roosevelt Standifer, to the Daily Huddle.
That was a lot, Chase.
That was a lot, right? My lips are still vibrating.
I'm like, wow. But it's awesome. It is awesome. And thank you for having me on, as always. Wellness Wednesdays, it's all about health and wellness, and no better place to be than right here. So
right here, right?
Thank you.
And also, I want to once again congratulate you outwardly for becoming a new father. It looks great on you. You look happy. You look glowing. And in our personal conversations, we've gone to the moon with this conversation about you and your kid. And I just want to give you your flowers again. You're glowing, and that's a good thing.
And that's what happens when you only get 3 hours of sleep when you have a newborn.
Right. When you don't get no sleep, you're like, I'm happy. I got 2 hours. So today, this is a topic that I feel like I'm closer to it now than ever.
Yes.
Because I perform in front of people who are between the ages of basically 75 and 103 right now. I see them closer than I've ever seen them ever. Even though I watch them all the time in New York City, I just watch how older people move, how they flow. Mm-hmm. And this particular topic about what should the aging individual do to improve their health, it's something that I feel like people talk about because they have to, because of their mother and father and so on and so forth. But I also think it's very healthy to talk about it when you're not there yet, like to plan for it. So unpack that a little bit for us.
I mean, that is the key. You hit the biggest things on the head right there. The two biggest things is before you get there, plan.
Right.
One of the things that, I was a financial advisor many years ago, and we used to always say, where do you want to go financially? What would that look like financially?
Right.
Well, we do the same thing in health, and we talk about that. What would you like to see your health look like as you get older? Now, the reality always sits in, and that's what we call life, everyday life, right?
Right.
Uh, the top kind of like chronic, the chronic, right? The chronic illnesses like heart disease, type 2 diabetes, arthritis, dementia, osteoporosis, all of these other things that can come into play in an aging citizen. All
Right.
right. We want to make sure that a health plan that you're planning for yourself considers these things.
Right.
What if, Chase? What if you're an incredible singer right now today? You're an incredible dancer right now today. But what if in the next, let's just say 5 to 10 years, something were to happen? Are you considering those things? And some of the ways we have as an indicator, like maybe looking at your family health. What happened to your mom? What happened to your dad? What happened to your uncle, your grandparents? What happened to them? And how can you prevent those same things from happening to you? And that's one of the things I think we need to start with, the what ifs. And it's
Right.
okay.
I'm sorry. I didn't want to cut you off. Did you have something else you want to say?
No, I just said it's okay to talk about those things. That's the taboo that we need to break open and peel back the onion a little bit on.
Correct. And I think it not only deals with health, but also the details about what's going to happen when someone passes on. About, I don't know, 4 years ago, my mother sent me like a a manila envelope, and I opened it up, and it was, this is what's going to happen when I pass away, when we pass away, me and my husband. And I'm like, what? Wait a minute, what are you talking about?
Right.
She's like, this is what's going to happen with the house. This is what's going to happen. This with this, with that. All the things that I'm not going to talk about are fine. You'll find that out. But I wanted to make sure you knew about these things.
Mm.
I thought, wow, that's so smart of her to do that now while she's cognizant of
Yes.
it. And from a health perspective, just now, like in the last 3 years, all three of my parents are having things that are unfathomable to me happen to them. And I'm like, okay, it's beginning. Now we start to think about, what's going to happen. Okay, how do we do that? What do we do the research peripherally and figure out,
Mm-hmm.
Is my mother going to be in a home? I don't think so. Is my dad? No, they're not going to allow that. I mean, because as people, I know.
Exactly. You're totally right.
So thinking about that, and then when my grandmother, my mother's mother was passing, she put her in a home that was a home. It was a 4-bedroom home in Florida, and this woman from her country decided to create this thing where people were in a home, their own big bedroom in the kitchen. They could walk around and go in the back. I was like, that's brilliant.
Nice.
That's how she passed, in a home, calm, with someone from her country. I was like, God, that was really smart. So you think about that. Now, what are some of the things that you want people to know based on your knowledge of this at this point where any
Yeah.
person could do that? What do you have to say to that person? It's like, I don't know where to start. What do I do?
Right. It's an elephant, right? And we're
Yeah.
just going to take one bite at a time. Let
Mm-hmm.
me give you two real examples of this, okay? So I'll use some of my clients as a great way, a segue. I have really intimate and detailed conversations with them. 85, 86-year-old gentleman had his two daughters and his wife sit him down and say these words. And just put yourself in this picture, right? Put yourself in this picture. The words that they told him is, we're taking the car away.
Ooh.
He was accustomed to driving to gyms, driving to the store, all of these other things. But the thing that they sat him down to tell him, we're taking the car away, it devastated him.
Right.
So our next workout session, we're talking about it. And this is what he told me. And I said, listen, you're so, I mean, an amazing, incredible guy, strong with a lot to share and a lot to give to the world. So I want you to tell me, what would you say to an aging population and what would you tell them to do? And this is what he said. He said, when you retire and are going into retirement age, you need to get proper management. And I'm talking mental management for the next 20 to 40 years ahead.
Mhm.
And I never thought about that.
Mental management.
He was just saying that if you can mentally manage the next 40 years and pay close attention, you will be aware of the signs. That's really key because he was saying that there were some signs that showed that he had another chronic illness that he even went to the doctor about. He even talked to the doctor about these things, and the doctor waved it off. But he said that if he was more mentally alert about his age and about knowing the signs, the indicators, then he would have been more proactive and he would not have allowed it to get so aggressive. And what that was Parkinson. So he could have done some things actually help to slow down the progression of it. Same thing with another client of mine. She is in her 80s, and she basically had a spinal injury. She had an accident. It created an alteration to her lifestyle. And the way her life was altered was she had decrease in mobility in her shoulder joints. And then also, which later in life, it created another issue with her hips. So, so what she's dealing with is a mobility disability and an issue that now she's having to deal with. But one of the things that she's done is she's been super proactive with her doctors, her specialists, and other people to stay engaged. Even though the doctors are saying there's nothing that they can do for her, she's still engaged and her mental capacity is right there and it hasn't shrunk a bit and she hasn't gone into the what it is woe is me mentality, which most of us can do, which causes us to deteriorate even faster in an aging citizen. And so what we want to do is we want to make sure that people are doing two things. One, you know your signs. I mean, this is the time you can be super spooky and critical about everything and say, oh, I think I got this. I think I got that. That's the time to do it. Why? Because you want to flesh it out. You want to make sure that you just double, triple check if this could be real before you get to a point where it's the too late point, let's just say. The second thing we must do is we must prepare and do a prep plan. If this were to happen, if I were to have multiple sclerosis, if I were to have spinal cord injury or whatever the illness or whatever the issue might be, this was prevalent in my family, there's a good possibility I might get this. Well, if I were to have that, what would be my plan of action? And you have to sit and think about your life from those lens. Put those goggles on, look through that lens, and write down a plan so that you're prepared to deal with it and it doesn't become such a shock. And that's one of the things that I would really recommend and really make people consider as of today, regardless if you're in retirement. Look, I'm doing it right now, and I'm only in my mid 40s, right? And I'm trying to think about these things because, look, at the end of the day, we're all going to age. It's inevitable.
Right.
And with aging, it comes life's life uncertainties. There's so many things that are going to happen that I'm kind of like a little bit nervous, a little bit, about, but at the same time, I want to be prepared for it. And I think that's what we all have a duty to do for ourselves and making sure that we actually take really, really, every opportunity to plan and prepare for that.
You said so much, and so much that was, I feel like, was right on point. I'm very blessed to come from a family of parents of motion.
Mm.
My mother and father are always in motion. They're always serving people, always. It's like incredible. At my mother's 75th birthday, I said to my cousin, please watch her. Because if you don't watch her, she's going into the kitchen. She's going to help take stuff out. This is her party. She's like, I know. I knew you were going to say that. I said, I'm telling you, watch her. I'm up here doing the music. 20 minutes later, she was gone. I said, where's my mother? She's in the kitchen. Look at her. She has a hotel pan in her hand. It's a thing that I think a lot of people get to that point and they forget how important motion is. Walk. I live in New York City. I can show you some Asian people down in Chinatown that get up in the morning to do the oh, what is that called again? Where they're moving their hands like this and they're going
Oh, Tai Chi.
yes, and they do it in the morning at like 6, 7 o'clock. All of them look like they're in their 60s, 70s, but they don't their physical bodies are moving like they're younger, right? And here's the thing, I think that when certain people get to a certain age, instead of saying, let's do more things to work on your mind, let's do some Sudoku, let's do some crosswords, let's do some other word games, let's do some finger movements, let's do some mudras. Instead of doing that, they say, all right, well, I'm going to bring you to this place and they're going to take care of you. And every day, just get up and walk around. And I'm like, no, like, do something with them. You know what I mean? Go to the park, feel the air. If they can get on a bike, let them bike. You walk with them, you ride with them. And the thing is, I don't know. I don't know if that's shunned or people like, oh, they're getting older, let them be, or they've done enough already, or whatever the case may be. And I'm like, that's my way of looking at it. And the last time I saw my father, he was walking in a way I've never seen him walking ever. And I was like, wow. It was because he had a hip operation. But he's young inside. You know, he's 28. When you talk to him, you're like, man, this dude is like shooting bullets. Holy God. But at the same time, the functionality, the carpal, the back pain, there's a thing called uh, polyneuropathy.
Mm-hmm.
These things are happening, right? And what I want to say is, let's not discount the power of movement and attitude, because that changes so much. If we want to just talk about the body getting older, yeah, we know that the body's getting older. However, there's a way to hack that too, because the body's like, oh, you're getting older, but man, you still good. You're still walking 2 miles a day. Let's do that. All right, let's be fluid. And obviously, it has worked because you can see people all over the world. You're like, how old are you? And you ask, what are you doing? I'm walking. I'm moving every day. I go to my store every day. I go to, the thing about the blue zones. I talked about that a while ago. And they went into those areas to speak to the people in blue zones. Said, what are you doing? And he's like, was the guy in Italy? He was in Italy.
Yeah, he was in Italy.
I walk up and down these stairs every day, and I go to my garden and I go to my thing. He's like 92, and he's great body, and he's smiling, and he's cooking for his wife, and I'm like, wow, this is awesome, So yes, this topic is, what do we, or how should we, what should you do to improve after retirement? But at the same time, I don't have a connection with the word retirement, by the way. That's not a word that I use. No disrespect to anybody, but I don't see myself retiring. I don't know where that word started in life, but I know it's a reality for most people, but it's not in my vocabulary. Like retiring is a specific concept in my mind, right? You've done all this, you're getting your benefits, and now you're going to just sit and relax. That's not where my mind is. Again, no disrespect to anyone. So for the people who we're talking to about that, and I wanted to ask you this, who is the oldest person that you treat or that you work with?
Yeah, I would say it would be an 87-year-old gentleman.
You work him out, or you go?
Yeah, absolutely. So his workout routines are consistently of squats. We get his legs strong. I mean, squat when you're doing the hamstring glutes, the lower back,
Yeah.
those actually improve your mobility
Oh, very important.
tremendously.
Yep.
The other thing that we also do, we also make sure that we're doing his upper body. So we're doing our dumbbells, we're doing our what we call farmer's walk, taking dumbbells and just walking with it,
Yeah.
heavier dumbbells,
Yeah.
but walking with it, getting your body prepared for what's ahead the next day, the next,
Correct.
And so those are the things that really help with the hip movements. And so these are some things that we love to do. I mean, and 87 years old, I mean, and kicking it. I mean, strong.
So he can squat like he
Oh, yes, squat.
really.
I mean, 87 years old. This
Wow.
is what we are talking about. We're talking about not allowing, like you said, it's the stigma of people stopping. People stopping. No, 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 no. You got to continue. You got to increase and you got to push yourself because you could do actually more then than when you were younger because you understand the form, the techniques, and you also understand this one key factor is that I have the will to do this because this is what helps keep me alive. And that is something that I think, I mean, I see the fight in him. 87 years old. He's doing this. I mean, of course, he was in the military previously. I mean, he's learned how to fight, but to see him work out, he's saying, "Hey, look, I got to do this. I have to do this." I'm like, "Man, I wish I had some of my younger clients to be as dedicated and committed to his body and to his wellness as he is because he's not going to quit. I mean, if I say do 100 push-ups, he's going to do 100 push-ups. He's going to say maybe on the 38th one, he says, "Can you give me just 2 minutes and I'll get started again?" I mean, but he's going to continue. And that's the type of dedication that we all need to have to our health and wellness.
Right. Because as they say, a body in motion tends to stay in motion. It just does. Like your body's going to be used to doing things. I don't always track my steps, but I have a couple things on my phone where I track the steps, and I'm at somewhere between 11 and 14,000 steps a day
Mhm.
based on what I do here. And there's subways and there's taxis and there's Ubers, but somehow my feet on the ground touching this amazingly uh, uh, vibrant city with all this information. It gets into my skin. I love it. I love being around it. There's a different smell every 5 feet. You
Yes.
know, whoa, what was that? Like, whatever. So all that stuff. But man, this is so good. This topic is so good because there's so many ways to go with it. I want to make sure, I want to see if there's anyone that has a comment or wants to add to this because there's a lot of layers to this topic and we can't possibly get inside of it in 20 some odd minutes fully. But if anyone has a comment, please open up your mic and let us know what this topic means to you and how it reaches you. Okay.
Well,
Um, uh-oh, that's my man
hey,
Stan. He said a
yeah,
half
hey,
a word. I know
hey,
that's
hey,
Stan.
hey, Chase, hey, Roosevelt. Thank you so much for this conversation, Roosevelt.
Oh,
It makes me think about myself in relation to my mother. My mother's 89 years old,
wow.
lives on her own, goes anywhere she wants to
I love
go,
it. I love it.
does whatever she wants to do, right? I was really concerned about her because 3 years ago, she got hit by a car on Flatbush Avenue in Avenue U.
Wow.
The guy made a bad turn while she was in the crosswalk. In the right, knocked her down, had some bleeding from her mouth, broke her arm. My mom at 86 years old, right? And got hit by a car. And I
Wow.
was so concerned about her because for a moment she looked like she's active and she looked like she got real tentative about stepping out, going places and doing things. I said, "Dan, this thing is really changing my mom, right?" That she's
Hmm.
afraid to cross streets now, and that she was not like that, right? But thank God, man, mom is back out there doing everything she was doing.
That's
Again,
awesome. Did she get a
89.
new car for getting hit with that car?
Well, she was walking. She was in the crosswalk. And
I know.
somebody
I said, did she get a new car for getting hit?
no, no, she didn't. But the lawyers took good care of her because she was definitely in the right, right? But
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
but she's back out and she's a strong lady of faith. But you talking about this, she just keeps herself moving. It's not that she has no issues but you wouldn't know. She's always going, always moving. So I know that movement is right. And every time I think about myself, I'm 71 years old now. I think about my mama has kept on moving,
Yeah.
kept on moving, always kept on moving, right? And that is so important. So very
Mhm.
important. Thank you so much for that, Roosevelt. Thank
All
you.
And,
right. Thank you, Stan.
and Stan, thank you for being a great example and happy 49th anniversary. Is
Oh
that
yeah,
what
that was 49, 49th, yeah, 49, January
49
14th.
years together? That's so great, man. I
Yeah,
just want to
that's amazing right there.
don't think I'm not paying attention to you, Stan, because I am. All
Well,
right.
thank you, man.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, Stan.
Thank you, Roosevelt. Thank you.
Anyone else? Oh man, that's wow. That's a great story, man. Oh my gosh.
Oh. Mother is an inspiration. Stan, your mother is an inspiration. I mean, that's incredible.
And I didn't bring this up before, but when you go online and you see people who are in up in age, or you see people who are younger who have two or three facilities gone,
Hmm.
you see them doing things at a level that a person with all their facilities doesn't do.
Right.
I mean, that to me is just like we could talk about what happens when the people are after retirement, but like you said, preventative action
Hmm.
that changes that last part. And
Yes.
that's what I'm saying. Like that's why this is such a great topic because you know that what you do now affects what's going to happen later.
Hmm.
So
It keeps you in the game. It
keep
keeps
it
you
game.
playing. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I know because every day I think about it. What am I going to do? Am I going to walk? Am I going to, am I going to do some grounding? Am I going to do some stretching? What am I going to do? I'm holding this bag. I'm just all movement, 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 movement,
Chase, you said something to me before, and I think this was we were just having a conversation, but you remember we were talking about the power of play, and I think like being a just 5 years old, just being a kid again. I mean, just being a little child.
Right.
And remember when you were a kid, you could play all day. People would have to tell you, stop playing.
Dude,
It's time to go to sleep.
get in here. You've been out there 4 hours. Yep.
It's in our DNA to do it still at 87, 57,
It's true.
47. There's a couple things we got to do to make sure that we stay in that. Eat
That's
well. Eat well is a very important aspect. Continue movement, exercise, doing things like that regularly, and resting. Those three things is just so critically important for you to continue to play all throughout.
right. Right. Because retirement to me should not mean a word that everything turns off and down. Why? Why is that a word that is connected to that? And again, no disrespect to anybody. Some people have worked tirelessly for 40 years at the same job. Their body's beat up, their mind is beat up, and they just want to relax. Yes, please do that. I'm just saying, in general, when we talk about, and I'm glad you said the word play, because I play every day in
Yes.
one way or another, whether I'm playing an instrument, whether I'm making something, whether I'm reading something about playing, whether I'm going somewhere to play, whether I'm in a gig, play is in my day every day. And I have to create at some point because if I don't, I feel it. Something's different to me. Even like I put this thing here. I just brought this up because I play. When I say I play, I make things, right? And I make you can't see it in this light. It's a little tricky, but I make things. And when I play, this is what stuff comes out, right? Little
Mhm.
things like this is a book. It's just a book made out of newspaper. I mean, paper bag from the store. But when you do things like that, and I think people in retirement, there's plenty of programs where people in retirement go to and do arts and crafts. My grandmother goes to a center. She can go whenever she wants to. My grandmother just turned 93 and she's just unbelievable. If I put a picture of her up right now, everybody will bug out. Like, what? She looks like a movie star. She's incredible. And so the thing is, what are you doing
Mhm.
now for what's because it's going to happen? But what are you doing to make sure that it's a softer landing than it needs to be? That's
Absolutely.
my point, right? So, oh man, anything else you want to chime in with before we begin to close out?
No, no. I mean, I just thank you guys for consider your health, because it is the most important thing that we have. Cherish,
Right.
love it, take it on as a marriage that is meant to be, and always play.
Always play, always play. And just to wrap that up for what you just said about play, I also think you're in a great position right now because you have a brand new life form in front of you. And all this person knows is play, right? Eat, poop, play, sleep. Very easy life,
Easy life,
right?
easy
That's it.
life.
And you can take from that all the time the way you want to. Again, in New York City, where are there a lot of in New York City? Playgrounds.
Ah,
And I see them all the time. And sometimes I stop, hand to God truth. I'll stop in a playground and I'll just sit there and take in the energy because I sing in the park a lot. When you look at these kids and you look at their unbelievable trough, not only for just playing, but for connectivity. There's
mm,
no racism. There's no, I can't play with you. There's, hey, 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 hey. And they're talking with each other and they're doing stuff. And also, this is actually related to people in retirement. When you watch a child fall, they get right back up. They don't even think about it. Even if they cry, they're like, "Ugh. Okay, Billy, come on. Okay. And they go back on the slide again. And you're like, wow, that lesson alone. And I thank you for staying and making that example about your mom getting hit by a car. Wow. It's just like, for most people, that would have been it. That's it. I'm staying inside, not walking outside anymore. That's not going to happen to me anymore. Right. So constant motion, and keeping everything in flow. And not everybody can do this. This sounds so easy coming out of my mouth. If you can be of help to someone else, do it. Go with somebody, help them. I'm at these senior citizens' homes a lot. There's always one person, I don't know how it happens, if I'm near them, can you help me up? Young man, can you come over and help me? And I'll help him, whatever. And I was in a place and the lady said, Chase, you're so sweet. I said, thank you. She goes, but don't touch them like that because someone will try to make you get in trouble because you helped them. Like, let us do that. I'm not mad at you. It was very nice that you did that. And I didn't think about that. I was
mm,
like, that's all you need is to come in here, right? Singing, help somebody. They slip and they go, that guy, he was touching me. Then I have a whole other bigger problem on my hand, right? Isn't that crazy?
yeah.
Just for being
Yeah,
nice,
it is.
right? But I'm just saying to everybody who's listening, get someone to help you if you feel like you're in a place where things are starting to change, and
Mm.
make fun an integral part of that. This is the person I play board games with. This is the person I walk with. This person comes to my house and we watch funny shows together and we eat popcorn and we like just all that motion because I believe, again, just my belief, that retirement should be fun. It should keep you should keep playing, right? Because when we sit in one place, our body starts to sediment and our joints start to not work. And our body starts to say, oh, this is what we're doing now? Okay. And then that's it. Then you're getting up to get a juice is hard because you're sitting 80% of the day, right? I might need to be in I might need to be in this industry a little bit more with people because it's getting closer to me now. I when I talk about it, I'm like, So we'll talk about that. We have so much stuff to do, Roosevelt. I don't know when we're
We
gonna
do. We do. Hey, we keeping it moving.
move it. So thank you so much for being here. I'm going to bring you back in about 4 weeks or so because you're
Yeah.
you're a staple here now. And to everyone else here, please remember to love more than you think you should. Live out loud, right? Move your body. We just talked about movement, right? Laugh as much as you possibly can. I always say, if you can't find anything to laugh about, YouTube, your favorite comedian, boom, you're laughing in less than a minute, right? Also, we talk about plant-based eating. All the people that I say this to, if you're a meat eater and that's what you do, take a few days to just eat plant-based. Let your body relax from the digestion. Let your body relax from having to hold all that stuff. I'm telling you, you're gonna feel different, right? Sleep as much as you possibly can because sleep is still in a deficit because our minds are moving. And as our minds move, sleep can't get in because you're getting up. You're trying to figure out what to do, how to pay that bill, how to meet that person, how to go whatever. Sleep a little bit more and get that into your system. And also Please stress less. As our world has changed underneath our feet right now, you're still responsible for your happiness. You're still responsible for what you do every day and how you draw or manifest things into your life to make yourself more fluid, right? And please, please check yourself before you wreck yourself with all these assumptions that it's not possible or you can't do it. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Thank you for joining us on the Daily Huddle. I'm Chase Stilgray, and every day of the week we have some amazing speakers and some amazing topics. So please join us tomorrow, and you're gonna love it. You're gonna love Dr. Monica Ogano. She's amazing, and thank you guys. You guys are amazing. Thank you, Roosevelt. See you soon.
Thank you, Daily Huddle family.